Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grandstand Sports Data. In today's video, we're going to give you the round one preview between the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. We're going to cover the statistical matchup, the fundamental factors breakdown. We're also going to give you our models predictions with some of the betting lines in this series. So let's get right into it. Okay, so let's get into the statistical breakdown here for the Warriors versus the Rockets, and this one's tighter than people might think. You're looking at the power rating in the SRS rating system when it comes to both us and basketballreference.com. Both teams are solidly rated. Golden State ranks 10th in both categories, while Houston edges them slightly at 8th, and Basketball Reference has them as a top 5 team. So from a market power standpoint, this is closer to a pick'em tier matchup than reputations may suggest. Let's take a look at some of the offense now. Offense in terms of Houston, slightly more efficient overall, but Golden State shoots it a little bit better and turns it over slightly less. The big edge, Houston crashes the offensive glass. They're ranked number 1 in the league, and that's extra possessions for Houston. But Golden State's transition offense thrives when they can secure rebounds and push that tempo. So offensive rebounding percentage could swing momentum. Just take a look at that. Defense now, defensive side of the ball. Houston ranks 4th in defensive rating, slightly better than the Warriors at 7th. Golden State's edge, though, it's shot quality. They're holding teams to about a 54.1% efficient field goal percentage, while Houston allows slightly softer, contested shots at that 52.8. Differentials, though, moving into some of the more important stats, even though all these are important, these may be slightly a little tick more important. Very even across the board here, especially net rating, nearly identical. Efficient field goal percentage differential, dead even. The one difference here is the turnover margin. Golden State creates more on defense and gives away less. And in a close game, that may be the difference. So take a note of that. I also will say that these numbers are reflective of Golden State throughout the whole season, and Jimmy Butler was only there half the year. So please remember that. Please factor that in. They may be much more better than what these numbers are showing you. The takeaway, though, this is not your typical Warriors versus Rockets of the past years. Houston's metrics, they say they're legit, elite on the boards, and disciplined on defense, but Golden State has playoff-tested habits, controls the turnover battle, and has slightly better shot quality on both ends of the floor. The edge, though, I'm going small lean with Golden State. I know those numbers up at the top of the power rating with Houston, but I'm saying if you trust that postseason experience, you gotta go. I just told you the numbers only half reflect what Golden State actually is with Jimmy Butler coming about middle of the season at that trade deadline. Now, let's take a look at the fundamental factors here, like your playoff experience, your player impact, and all that rotation depth. So let's take a look. We're going to look at the win shares first. This one's a blowout, right? Golden State's roster has a 57.5 career playoff win shares, and they're led by Curry, Jimmy Butler, and Draymond Green. So these guys are built for the postseason. Houston's rotation, just 2.3 in terms of total playoff win shares, right? Very inexperienced, zero playoff impact basically from 7 of their 8 players. That's not a red flag. That is a neon billboard for you. That's just a huge neon billboard when you're looking at this. Win shares per 48, though, so you want to break it down to efficiency per game levels. Even if you remove that volume, Golden State's top 6 rotation are all above that .140. Meanwhile, only Fred VanVleet on the other side breaks that .090 for Houston, and Dillon Brooks is in the negative. So you got to take a look at that. The pace, though, both teams play at almost identical tempos, so expect a controlled game. No edge there. The difference is going to come down to execution in the half court. That's basically it. Houston does have the home court advantage, so this might be one of those rare times where experience trumps environment, so Golden State won't be rattled. They played in these big arenas in higher stakes than this. The takeaway here, though, this is a classic veterans versus youth matchup. Golden State's core has proven they can win in playoff games. Houston has upside, but no proven playoff producers yet. So that experience edge shows up late in games, late in series, and historically it cashes. But I will say, just like I've been saying about all the young teams in the playoffs this year, you may not be handicapping Houston right now, but watch them so you can handicap them in the season next year. Maybe you spot some value, you can see some growth, and you think that they will make you some money for your wallet, next NBA season. So still look at them. Take your notes, gather your information however you do it, but that's how I would handicap Houston, Detroit, those type of teams. Now, moving on to the handicapping factors, these have been the most profitable in those past playoff markets, and then who owns the edges in those. So the table is basically showing you the 6 key betting factors that have produced positive returns over the last 5 years. And there's a split here, 3-3. Houston's got the edge in that offensive rating, right? The Rockets slightly more efficient on paper. They got the turnover percentage in their edge. That's a big one. Teams that take care of the ball win bets, and Houston ranks better. Defensive rebounding percentage, that's another sneaky edge that turns second chance stops into transition buckets. Now let's look at Golden State. They got the efficient field goal percentage. They shoot it better, and that matters under playoff pressure. The Warriors also may turn it over more, but they create more turnovers than Houston. So this gap matters in close games when you're talking about turnover percentage differential. Last but not least, free throw per field goal attempt differential. Golden State has a big edge in getting to the line while limiting opponents. That stat alone has cashed year over year. So what is this telling us? Houston controls some of the box score basics, efficiency, and rebounding, but Golden State holds edges in playoff proven categories: shooting, turnover margin, and then free throw discipline. And those cash more often. So the takeaway here: Houston may look clean on paper, but Golden State's profile fits what actually is translated into playoff betting value. That's the kind of edge you lean on when deciding what side you trust. Now, let's check out these teams, how they performed in those spread situations throughout the season. Golden State on the left side, they went 41-41 against the spread, but if you bet them every game, you're down $3.69 for every $1 bet. If you had them in your portfolio, they were down 4.5% for a return on investment. Their line was often inflated due to the name value and public love, right? Even when they covered, it was inconsistent. Notice that big dip after game 65 where the value just disappeared. Houston on the right side, though, same story. 41-41, all numbers basically identical. But here's the kicker: Houston was really overpriced. Their against the spread failures weren't due to the market inflating them. They just didn't outperform expectations down the stretch. It's that simple. That sharp drop off after game 70 says a lot about their inconsistency late in the season. So, what are the key patterns that you see in here? Golden State had a peak ATS stretch between games 58 and 66, but tailed off hard, right? While Houston hovered around break even most of the year, but it couldn't string together a winning against the spread streak. You could see they just didn't. And I would say both teams, if you're really looking at this, you just want to strip it down to the basics. Both teams didn't reach their average in how they played throughout the season. You can see Golden State, when it came to the spread bets, didn't reach their average. That's the red line, probably the most important line here. And the same thing with Houston, didn't reach their red line as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the teams who actually made you money on the money line. So when you're talking about Golden State on the left, they went 48-34 straight up, and betting them in every game returned about $3.31 for your pocket, and it would have been good for a 4% rate of return on your investment. So that's impressive considering they're often short favorites or slight dogs. The market didn't overprice them. That's what it's telling you. So from game 60 to about 75, they were absolutely in the zone. Sharp bettors rode them, basically down the stretch to get the best of it. Houston, on the other side, they were 51-31, slightly better record wise, and returned $1.65 for every $1 bet. And they were up 2% on your portfolio. So they were priced conservatively early in the season, which paid off if you caught the climb. But most of that profit came late. That big jump between game 77 to 81 shows they closed the season strong as that undervalued dog. The key here, though, both teams made money, but Golden State was steadier over a longer period. Houston's moneyline spike came in short bursts at the end, which might not be as sustainable going into a playoff matchup with a veteran team like Golden State. So the takeaway here is the market respected but didn't overrate Golden State. Meanwhile, Houston's pricing lagged their actual performance, and they snuck in profit during a hot stretch late. Both were solid on the money line, but Golden State's consistently could be the better foundation in a playoff series. Now, wrapping this up with the official betting lines, model predictions, and where the value is hidden in the series. You can see Golden State is a modest favorite at minus 190. to win the series, laying -1.5 games at that -105. Houston's getting +155 on the money line and +1.5 games with -115 odds. So the books are saying this will be a competitive, not a blowout either way. Our model's predictions: we have Golden State to win the series 4 games to 3. They won 55% of the 10,000 Monte Carlo simulations that we ran. Houston's got a real puncher's chance at 45%. So according to the model, I'd say that's a lot tighter than the money line odds suggest, meaning value might be on Houston here. So if you're looking for a dog, that may be Houston. I wouldn't agree. I think that veteran, I just think that the veterans versus these young guys, I think it's Golden State. But that's not what the model has. You can see the model has Houston covering. Maybe you may like that at that -115 number. Golden State on the line, and then the over in the series. Even that's a little bit juiced for me at -200. But the takeaway here is that it's not a mismatch. It's a coin flip disguised as a favorite versus underdog. Golden State's experience and turnover edge matter, but Houston's metrics and pricing offer legit value, so especially on spreads and totals. The sharp play here is taking Golden State to win, but you may look at grabbing Houston at that +1.5, just like I said. I think that that's a pretty good play. Okay, so thank you guys for tuning in to the NBA first round playoff preview. We hope you had a great time and picked up some awesome information. Now, don't forget to subscribe to Grandstand Sports Data for more great shows like this one. Also, don't forget to give this video a like and share it with your friends. And leave a comment down below on who you think is going to win this series. That's all for now, and we'll see you guys in the next one.